Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
So good afternoon and welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Rob Iles this afternoon, who is the Sales Director at Trevor Iles Ltd. So thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thank you for asking, Vicky.
You're very welcome. So can I just start off by asking, can you, Rob, can you introduce yourself properly to us and can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you guys do?
Okay, so we are Trevor Iles Ltd. We are based in Bradford, with operations also in Sheffield and Newcastle. The Newcastle branch is called Thomas Owen and Sons Limited. Our marketplace is cleaning and hygiene, really. So we provide cleaning and hygiene solutions for any commercial outlets. So that could be local government, education, healthcare, hospitality, anything that's non-domestic, effectively.
Brilliant. So, in light of what you guys do, how have you been affected over the last year?
We've been very busy. Very busy. Demand has been very high.
Yeah.
Supply has been iffy from time to time. And we've had to work incredibly hard just to manage it all. Yeah, it's been tough. Tough on everybody. It's tough on the country, but you see it in individuals and colleagues within the business how hard it's been on my colleagues. But we managed. Brilliant.
I mean, you kind of touched on supply. Is that something that's been a big challenge for you guys? Actually, being able to, you've had the work that's been coming in, but being able to get hold of everything that you might need to carry out those jobs. Has that been a big challenge for you?
Yeah, it was more of a challenge than we anticipated, I think, without a doubt. We always considered our supply chain to be strong and robust. But I think there's a huge reliance on stuff coming in from the east, and that's where the pandemic started. Yeah. So they had issues with regards to production and shipping. And although a lot of stuff also comes in from Europe, Brexit has had an effect, and there was a lot of panic buying right at the start, which I don't think was really necessary, but that didn't help the situation either. So so what we thought was we could rely on, it was not just a challenge for us, but a challenge for our suppliers. So yeah, it has been tough, and we've had to source products from places we wouldn't normally, or we've substituted some brands for others that we struggled to get as and when we needed them.
So what other kind of challenges have been sort of put in front of you guys? What other challenges have you faced?
Well, as well as sort of suffering from the supply issues, it's getting clear and accurate information of whatever we were hopefully expecting to arrive. When was it going to arrive? And I think industry took advantage of the furlough scheme, not only to minimise the financial impact that the pandemic was having on businesses, but also to safeguard people, I think as well. So getting information out of our suppliers was challenging. There were people there to talk to, but because they were working remotely, perhaps they didn't have instant access to the information. And in some instances, it was a case of, well, we can't tell you. The best thing to do is wait for it to arrive, and then you'll know what you've got. Yeah. And that's not a situation we've ever faced before. So keeping our own customers advised of where we were and what we had and what we could supply has been very challenging.
So what kind of adaptations have you guys had to make over the last year?
We've had to sort out some new supply sources. So we've developed some relationships with people that perhaps we wouldn't normally have done, because generally speaking, quite satisfied with our normal suppliers. We've used the technology within the business that we have, the computer system, to try and manage the available stock and communicate to everybody. Managing expectation, I think, has been the thing. Remain optimistic, but be absolutely totally honest. Don't tell anybody you can do something if you don't know you can do it. We tried to make sure we weren't making any false promises, but provide reassurance where we could. We've had to ration stock in some instances, so we'd have orders for way in excess of what we were receiving, so we were trying to share that fairly amongst as many of our regular customers as we could, to make sure everybody got something to keep their heads above water, so to speak, and then complete them as soon as we could subsequently, and avoid the temptation to take advantage of any windfall inquiries we got. On the occasion when we got a big delivery of, I don't know, disinfectant in, for instance, we could have probably sold that 3 or 4 times over.
Yeah. And
some inquiries come in, and they would have taken it all in one go and perhaps paid a bit of a premium for it. And I'm sure that some businesses would have taken advantage of that, but we resisted that urge. We wanted to make sure we were looking after the people who can rely on us to provide that service anyway, because they'll still be there when this is all over.
Exactly. So what about your people? What about the people in the team? How has it been for those guys?
They've been amazing. I mean, I always thought we had a good team. We're a family business. I think we've got family values. We try and look after everybody. We had to take advantage of the furlough scheme, and all those people that were affected by it accepted it. Understood the need for it. So that was great. At the start, we anticipated that might be an issue, but now everybody understood that whatever the part they had to play, they were going to play it. And then for those of the team that have either worked through it right the way through it, or we tried to rotate if we could, so that not everybody was sort of stuck at home all the time. Try and share the load, so to speak. But 1 or 2 sort of key members of the team have been there throughout, and they've been amazing. They really have. Not just sort of looking after their own work, but obviously covering for their colleagues as well. They've far exceeded my expectations, really.
Brilliant. Absolute credit to you by the sounds of it.
They are, yeah. I'm very, very proud of them.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. And what about you as a business leader? How has it been for you?
Well, it's been hard. I think I've put in more hours, worked harder. But then I've not been on my own. There are other directors in the business. As I say, it's family, and my brother and my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
My father's been kind of there in the background, our chairman. We had to tell my mother to keep him at home, because that was the safest place for him. So the urge to come in and help out was very strong for him. But we had to ban him from the office effectively for his own safety.
Keep him safe.
But yeah. So it's been a real team effort.
Yeah.
Everyone's just dug in deep.
So what about in terms of your leadership style? So with leading the team, when you have some guys who are still hands on the pump, and you have some staff on furlough, and so much uncertainty, and none of us knew when anything was going to end or what was going to happen next. How did you have to adapt as a leader?
That's a good question. I don't know, to be honest. I think I prefer to let people get on and do what they need to do, not to interfere too much. Although I get a bit bogged down in the details sometimes, so it's not always easy do that, but I tried hard to make sure I let people get on with it and just got involved if somebody needed a bit of guidance or advice. I mean, the big things were just making sure that people knew what we were trying to achieve internally, and work along those lines. As I say, managing expectations for our customers' point of view was the most important thing. And I don't doubt there'll be some disappointments along the way, but overall, I think we looked after everybody very well. I don't know that I'd class myself. Sorry, that's my mobile going off. As a fantastic leader, and it's a burden, not a burden, but it's a role I share with my brother and my sister-in-law, and my father and my other directors. So it's been very much a team effort.
Team effort.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what about the wins for you guys? Tell us about some of the positives that you've been able to take from this year.
Well, I think the big positive is the team, the team that we have working for us. As I say, we held them in a high regard before, but even more so now. And I think from a business success point of view, we, being in the industry that we're in, we're at the forefront of the fight against the pandemic, and always believed that we've been in business sort of nearly 50 years, and always thought that we had a strong reputation within the industry. But I suppose it came into sharp focus. We were lucky to, well, not lucky perhaps, worthy enough to supply some of the local hospitals with it. That's our environmental credentials work in the lights gone out.
Found in the meter.
Keep moving to keep them on. We supply some of the local hospitals, so we had a very significant order in for the local Nightingale Hospital for floor cleaning equipment.
Wow.
Some of the other hospitals locally who bought again floor cleaning equipment or sort of janitorial disinfectant products. At the time when we were struggling to get hold of disinfectant wipes, through a contact I know, we felt like we were taking a chance at the time, but we took in 2 consignments of disinfectant wipes from Turkey. So we wouldn't normally go straight to the country of manufacture ourselves. We distribute for other manufacturers normally. Yeah. So that was nearly £500,000 worth of stock, which was paid for in advance.
Wow.
So I had a couple of weeks. I was wondering whether we'd made the right decision. It was me that talked my colleagues into agreeing the deal, but they arrived as they should have done, and they were gone within a couple of weeks.
Brilliant.
That was good.
Brilliant. So what changes and adaptations that you've had to make over the last year due to the pandemic, changes that you've had to make to the business, which of those changes and adaptations are you going to keep hold of moving forward?
Well, I think this is one of them. I think talking to people via technology is something we haven't done before, but I've been surprised just how easy that can be and how effective it can be. I don't think it's going to replace face-to-face conversations and meetings, but certainly it's an extra tool in the toolkit to use, and it saves an awful lot of travelling time. And we've recognised we'd recently introduced a new computer system to our business about 18 months ago, 2 years perhaps now, and we've been sort of getting used to that. And some of the advantages that have brought to us has been a real benefit, and we want to try and bring the other benefits that we know are there to be taken advantage of. We want to bring that process forward sooner.
Yeah.
And I think we've had to think on our feet quite a bit, I think, over the last year. And so I was thinking outside the box. Well, how are we going to solve that problem, and how do we deal with that? And I think that's been good for us. That it's to say the necessity is the mother of invention. I think is the phrase. And there's been quite a bit of that over the last year. So I think remembering what we've achieved and realizing that no matter how difficult things can be, we're capable of solving those problems, I think.
Very much so. Brilliant. So what has been your biggest learning over the last year? If you were to pick sort of the biggest thing you've learned, whether that's about yourself as a leader or in terms of the business as a whole, what would you say was your biggest learning?
I think I've learned a bit more about myself. Recognise I still things I need to, my own personal skills I need to improve on. But the biggest thing that, from a business point of view, I think I was surprised, taken aback by the fragility of the supply chain.
Yeah,
we've never experienced anything like this before. Occasional stockouts, they're always there, but not to the scale that they've been. And our reliance on production from outside the UK, in particular in the Far East, has it's made life very difficult, and it continues to make life difficult. The Brexit hasn't helped, so delays in shipping and manufacturing and getting stuff across the world, and that's led to some of our suppliers having to rethink, their own business models and where they source stuff from. So that this what's the phrase I'm looking for? Just in time.
Yeah.
Just in time supply is all well and good, but if the world catches a cold, just in time doesn't exist anymore.
No, absolutely not. So what does the future hold for you guys? What does the future look like?
Challenging, I guess, but then I think the future always is challenging.
Yeah,
and if it wasn't, wouldn't life be boring?
Yeah.
But I just think we've got another year to go. Whether the pandemic settles down, I think there'll be at least another 12 months of disruption or difficult times for business generally. I think those businesses that do survive, they'll be looking to save money going forward to recover some of the financial hardships that they suffered over the last 12 months. There are price increases on the horizon. Again, demand is high. It's market forces. Some things are still in short supply. So that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for us being caught in the middle between the manufacturer and the end user. So we've just got to help people make the right decisions about what they're buying, why they're buying it, and how they're going to use it, to make sure that they use it to their best. They're getting the best value out of it. It's not necessarily how much an individual item costs. It's how far it goes, how quickly or how well it does the job that they bought it for, really.
Very much so. And what are you and the team looking forward to the most as we emerge from lockdown?
I think probably getting out and seeing the people that physically that haven't been able to see before. I think I've seen only 2 of my suppliers in the flesh since a year last March.
Wow.
So it would be great. And we belong to a group called Nationwide Hygiene Supplies, and that's sort of 20 other independently owned businesses operating in the same marketplace. And we pool our resources to supply national contracts and to secure purchasing deals. And we get together quarterly as a group to review where we are as a business and how we're going. And we've been doing that via Zoom or Teams for the last 12 months, and it'd be nice to do that in a more intimate environment where we can share a room and then share a drink at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. I'm with you on that one. Listen, Rob, thank you so much for chatting with us and for sharing your story of the last year and the challenges that you've experienced and that you guys have overcome. It's so valuable, for you to give us your time to share this with us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for asking.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.